You doubt a laser gun can read heat right. I tested this one against my probe and it matched. Here are the top 5 things to know before you buy. And number 1 sold me. Number 5 thing you should know before buying. This gun reads 58 degrees below zero, all the way up to 1,112 degrees Fahrenheit. That covers your deep freeze on one end, a pizza stone on the other. It lists it for cooking, oven checks, pulling maintenance, and candy making. And that spread matches how it gets used. The body runs 7 inches long and weighs 5.9 ounces, so it sits in a kitchen drawer without taking up a lot of drawer space. It also comes with 3 AAA batteries, so it's going to actually come in the box, so you don't have to buy extra batteries as well. So you're really ready to pull the trigger the day it shows up. No cord, no charging brick, no app asking to make an account before it will tell you how hot your pan is. I ordered mine thinking it's a grill toy. Then my garage deep freeze started icing up around the lid, and I want to know if it had drifted warm before I lost that summer of elk meat. I shot the bottom shelf and read 4 degrees. My freezer held up fine. My door seal had gone bad and a new gasket fixed it in the afternoon. I had already told my wife we needed a new freezer. She had it on file now. A bunch of reviewers mentioned pointed there's air vents around the house, walking room to room to find which register ran warm, then balancing the whole system off those numbers as well. Same tool, a job most buyers did not plan on. That range opens up to one you learn 2 ways this gun takes a reading. Number 4 is when that starts. Number 4 thing you should know before buying this gun. It has 2 modes, and most buyers only ever use one of them. Hold mode gives you instant temperature of the exact point you aimed. Pull the trigger, let go, and the number sits on the screen while you walk back to the counter. Scan mode shows the actual temperature of the surface you moved across while you held the trigger down. Hold it, sweep it, and watch the number climb and fall as you cross the metal. That second mode changed how I cook. My griddle has a cold corner. I cooked on it for 2 years without knowing that. Because the burner knob all read the same, right? The surface does not. I swept across and watched the numbers drop almost 60 degrees between the middle and the front one. Saturday morning, I made pancakes with my son, and he used to grumble that they came out pale while mine came out golden brown. He was right. He had been cooking in the dead zone the whole time. Now he sweeps the griddle before the batter goes down and picks his spot like he's claiming a seat on the bus. I ran the same sweep on my oven rack and the smoker and cast iron before anything hits the metal. It takes 5 seconds and tells you where your food is going to sit and what temperature it's going to be at. Hold mode handles the one-off question, like whether oil is ready. Scan mode handles the map. Once you know the surface has zones, you stop cooking blind on it as well. Scan mode does you no good from the wrong spot, however, and this is going to bring up number 3 for you. Number 3 thing you should know before buying this gun. The listing says 12 to 1 distance to the spot ratio, and that line decides whether your reading means anything. So here it is in plain English. Stand at 12 inches from the surface. Number 3 thing you should know before buying this gun. The listing says 12 to 1 distance ratio to spot ratio. That line decides whether your reading means anything. Here it is in plain English. Stand 12 inches from the surface and the gun reads circle 1 inch across. Back up 4 feet and that circle grows to 4 inches. Back up another 12 feet and you're reading the circle a foot wide. Everything inside that circle gets averaged into one number. So when you stand across the patio and shoot your grill grate, you are reading a cold metal around it and the air between the bars as well. The numbers come back low and you blame the gun. My neighbor built a backyard pizza oven last summer and he's proud of it. He stood back by his fence, shut the door, and told me this thing pops out at 600. I walked up, held the gun about a foot off the stone and read 812. Same tool, same minute, 200 degrees apart. He steps closer now, as you should as well. Now they call this a measuring from the safe distance, and that part holds up. You keep your knuckles out of the heat and off the hot grates. You just have to know the distance and precision pull against each other. One fix costs you that number 2 that we're going to be talking about as well. All right, number 2 thing you should know before buying this gun. This reads the surface and nothing but the surface. It tells you the temperature of the outside of your food, your pan, your stone, your vent, your pool. It tells you nothing about the middle of the chicken thigh. That sounds obviously written down. It stops being obviously at 6 in the evening with 5 people waiting to eat. I shot the top of a pork loin and saw 168 degrees and pulled it off the heat. The center ran pink, the crust was racing ahead while the middle lagged behind. And that skin told me the truth about the only thing I could see. One buyer wrote about testing this against their regular stick in thermostat on a chicken they were cooking, and the 2 readings landed close. That happens after the meat rests and the heat evens out throughout the whole chicken. It doesn't happen 20 minutes into that cook. So I split the work. The temp gun, which is this, owns everything before the food goes on and everything the food touches. Pan, griddle, stone, grate, oil. My probe owns the doneness. Neither one does the other job. Run both and you stop guessing on the other end. Once I quit asking this thing to be meat thermostat, it earned its spot in the drawer. All right, number one is fixed for the complaints that showed up mostly on the listing, and it takes about 5 seconds. Stay past it too, because I have a bonus tip on the 2 settings hiding in the buttons as well. Number one thing you should know before buying this gun, emissivity. I skipped past that word for a solid month, and you should not, because it separates the gun read writes from the gun that goes back to the return to box. Surface throws off heat at different rates. Flat, dull, modal material like wood, brick, cast iron, painted material, and food throw off heat at a rate close to 0.95. Shiny material like polished stainless foil and chrome throw off far less, and it bounces heat around. It backs its sensor. Aim an infrared gun at a mirror, finish pan, and you're going to read the pan, and you're sealing at the same time, right? This one sets at 0.95 and lets you dial it in anywhere from 0.1 to 1.0. That single adjustment covers most surfaces in your house, and it takes about as long to change in the channel. Set it once for what you cook most and rarely touch again. And here's where I ate it. I own a stainless steel pan. I've cooked on it for 15 years. The gun reads 90 degrees cooler than the burner had any business producing. So I decided the gun was junk, and I said out loud to a buddy who runs HVAC calls for a living. He asked what I had the emissivity set to, and I told him I had no idea what that word actually meant. He walked me through dropping it and reading climbing numbers to where it belongs to, and then I basically learn what that word was, and helped me out quite a bit. A bunch of reviewers report the same story from the other side, reading it off by at least 10 degrees, and one of them swapped batteries to try a different object that was hurting the problem. The shiny surface and a default setting explains most of that gap. So park it at 0.95 for food, cast iron, brick, and painted metals, and drop it for anything else you can see your face in. And that whole trick turns this from a gadget you argue with into a tool that you trust. Now stay for the bonus, because the 2 settings on this gun stay hidden until someone points out as well. If emissivity is the fix that you needed, add this to your cart now and you can thank me later. All right, bonus tip, 2 settings live in these buttons. You will find neither one on the box. First, press and hold for more than 3 seconds, and the display flips between Fahrenheit and Celsius, which is this button here. I found that by accident with my hands full of raw chicken, and I spent the next 10 minutes convinced I had broken brand new thermostat. Second, you can run laser visibility or invisible. The dot earns its keep when you are aiming at something small across the garage. It wears its welcome when you're cooking at night on the patio and a red dot is crawling up your brother-in-law's shirt. Shut the dot and the reading is going to stay the same. The screen uses an eye-protected LCD, so the numbers stay easy to read either way. Learn those 2 settings the first night, and you will keep this gun for years instead of weeks. All right, guys, that's everything I have. As always, remember 2 things here. Deals fade, so go add this to your cart now. Number 2, the product bro is always here for you.